Hi, Emma here from Old Town Hypnotherapy. I've come outside to record today, so I do need to apologise in advance for my neighbours. They're a little bit noisy. I've got chickens, I've got cockerels, but they're the noisy ones, and peacocks, and lots of lovely birds around, which is lovely, but they get a little bit noisy. So if you can just listen to me and not them, then it'll be fine. So today, I wanted to do a vlog just to help somebody out who emailed me last night. And she said, can you help me with the negative thoughts and living in the past when I don't want to? You know, this is really common, that we get stuck in our past and we start negatively introspecting about our lives, ourselves, and the past. And looking in the past for answers, looking for explanations for things that happened or what could we have done differently. And is this negatively introspecting about the past that leads to feeling miserable and, as it gets more extreme, into depression? And that's one of the main things that's the difference about depression and anxiety. Anxiety is negatively forecasting about the future, and depression is negatively introspecting about your life, yourself, and your past. And I don't need to tell you that it doesn't do any good whatsoever. You can't change the past, you can't change anything that happened. Our past, even if things go wrong, they're wonderful learning experiences. They help us deal with life in the future, but only if we learn from it and move on. And, how do you do this? I mean, this is the question, is how do you do this? Because it's a bit like, if you've got a river, flowing down a particular path, the river is going to keep following that path because there's a groove there, the water can drain into it, and it's just going to keep following that windy path, whether it's a helpful path or not. And our brain does the same. The more and more we do something, we embed those particular neural networks that we're creating. So even if this is unhealthy for us, unhealthy negative thought patterns, whether that's about the future or the past, if we keep going there, if we keep following those thought patterns, we're digging in those grooves even further so that we keep going to them by default, and it keeps pulling us back because it's the natural path that your brain wants to take. So how do you begin to change this? Well, it's your brain. Number one, remember, it is your brain. They are your thoughts. You are creating them. Your brain isn't some independent entity that does things all by itself. It does what you tell it to do. It does what you teach it. And it does what you repeat again and again and again. So step one is to be aware of that, is to know that it's your brain and to know that you can take control and change it. If you've created it, you can change it. Okay, so number one is being aware and take strength from that there is hope that you can do it. It's just going to take a little bit of practice about doing something different. If you've practiced something again and again and again, you get really good at it. If you want to do something else, you've got to practice that as well. So being aware, it's your thoughts, it's your brain, you're in control, and you can change it is number one. But I know what you really want is a tip for how do you do this. It's easier said than done, Emma. Well, yeah, it is, because your brain will just default back to what it's been used to. So you need to give it something else to do. Now, what else do you give it to do? You go, I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what I want to do instead. Well, you've got to find those things. And that's up to you. Look at it like this. Okay, you've got a book that you keep rereading. You keep going back. And it's a book that it makes you emotional. It makes you cry. And, not emotional in a good way. And it really wasn't a great read. But you just keep going back and reading it because you haven't got any other books. And when you've got nothing to do, you pick up this book and read it. And your brain's a bit like that. When your brain's got nothing else to do, it's going to pick up the things it knows and do it again. So how do you know what book to read next? Well, you get a whole selection of them and you lay them out in front of you. You go and choose a whole load of books from the library and you try them just one at a time. You make an effort to put the old book down, go, okay, I am not going to read that again. And of course, there are times when you will accidentally, you're so used to picking up this book and rereading your last chapter that, yeah, you're going to do it again. But as soon as you become consciously aware that that's what you've done, put it down and then pick up one of your new books. Okay? So when your new books, I'm talking about new experiences, new things, new people, new things to do. Find a new passion in your life. Start changing up your life, doing new things. You know, it might be going to see somebody. It might be having coffee with someone. I tell you, a great new thing to do is to, for when you've got that downtime and you've got too much time on your mind or your hands rather to think, and you default and you pick up your old chapter and your old book again. Listen to audiobooks again. You know, if you've listened to my stuff, you've heard me rave about audiobooks again and again and again. I'll put a link at the bottom. But if you don't know what to do with yourself, they are great at actually capturing your attention and giving your brain something to do. And this is what you need to do, to focus on, is giving your brain something to do. So these new books that I want you to lay out in front of you are, you know, it might be something you want to learn. It might be a new hobby. It might be connecting with new people and new communities. You know, there are great websites like Meetup, and you know, I'm sure you've got your own network of friends and connect and arrange to do things with them. It's gonna take a little bit of effort, yes, I know it is, but that's up to you. If you really want these to stop and you really want to move on, it's making an effort that's going to do it. If you sit there doing the same old things again and again and again, you're just going to get the same results. So it will take a bit of effort, but it's going to be well worth it, because as you pick up these new things one in turn, you might not like them all. You might, you know, decide, oh, I want to go and try, I don't know, a new dance class or something. I'm thinking off the top of my head. You might want to go and try something, and you might pick up that book and you're like, no, I don't like that one, and you can discard it, but at least you tried it. And when you've discarded that one, you can pick up the next one and try it. But keep doing this. Keep looking for these new books or these new chapters in your life and focus on them. And all the time you are focusing on new things in the present and new things that you're looking forward to trying in the future, the less and less time you are rereading the old chapters. And the reason that's important is because the more and more you let go of these old chapters and the more you stop doing it, you allow new things into your life. Your brain can only do so much at once. If you keep giving it this old stuff to do, it doesn't allow anything else in. But as you stop doing those old things, more room and more attention is made available for other things. And the more and more you stop doing it, those old paths and those old tracks and that old river will start to fill in and will start to grow over. So it gets to a point where you realise one day, wow, I haven't thought about that all week. Wouldn't that be lovely? So I hope that helped. Until next time, find new things, find new focus, find new passions and interests and joy in your life.